Bitcoin and Financial Market Astrology, Key Transits and FOMC Insights, November 4th, 2024. This period brings dynamic astrological influences to crypto and financial markets, marked by fluctuating sentiment between caution and optimism. The coming weeks hint at a dynamic yet uncertain economic atmosphere, with traders balancing prudence and opportunity. Expect volatility across crypto and financial markets as transits suggest a mix of caution and speculative interest. Regulatory signals and economic data may deliver mixed messages, potentially intensifying risk-averse attitudes. Spanning from the Scorpio new moon to the Taurus full moon, the current lunar cycle is marked by powerful planetary transits and aspects that impact both trader psychology and market sentiment. Shifts between caution, influenced by Scorpio, Capricorn, and Pisces, and boldness, driven by Sagittarius, Aquarius, and Aries, create a mixed sentiment environment. Heavier Saturn and Pluto aspects encourage caution, while dips present opportunities for those making well-researched, strategic entries. Bitcoin's astrological chart indicates a transformative period in both perception and performance, with Scorpio's themes of power, hidden motivations, and subconscious forces at the forefront. This period is an opportunity for shedding old market conditions and beginning a new cycle of price movement and sentiment. With the Sun in Bitcoin's fourth house, there is a focus on stability, driving a protective stance among investors. Influences from the first and second houses, identity and financial resources, underscore a reevaluation of Bitcoin's intrinsic value, emphasizing consolidation and wealth preservation. Welcome to this video. We'll cover overall market sentiment, trader psychology, risk appetite, and key assets, focusing on Bitcoin. Vulnerable periods and trigger points will be discussed, with in-depth analysis of key astrological events for this period. Use timestamps to navigate video chapters, and check the description for links to previous forecasts. Be sure to watch our detailed analysis about the astrology of the FOMC rate decision news event in a separate chapter later in this video. By understanding planetary cycles, human behavior, and market dynamics, you can make more informed trading decisions and navigate the market, leveraging favorable times and mitigating risks. In the latter half of the video, we'll provide a detailed Bitcoin trading calendar for November 4th, 14. We'll outline potential bearish, bullish, neutral, and highly volatile periods based on astrological transits. This calendar, along with our financial and crypto market analysis, offers insights on market sentiment, likely reactions to economic news, and forecasts for risk-on risk-off behaviors. These insights serve as a roadmap for navigating market dynamics. Interpretations are general, highlighting trader psychology and sentiment. Please remember, this video does not constitute financial advice. Always conduct your own research before investing. Now, let's dive into the details of Bitcoin and financial market astrology. Key astrological influences and analysis, November 4th, 2024. Solar transits, regulators and market makers represented by the Sun in Scorpio. Scorpio's penetrating energy during the Sun's transit encourages a deep dive into market risks and hidden value, with traders adopting a more analytical, cautious approach. This period may enhance conservative sentiment as investors prioritize market fundamentals over speculative trends. The Sun in Scorpio supports a transformative phase for crypto, with investors inclined toward risk-aware strategies that emphasize foundational stability rather than chasing short-term gains. The Sun-Saturn trine on November 4th brings additional stability and cautious optimism, anchoring Bitcoin's market performance during this transit. As the Sun in Scorpio transits Bitcoin's fourth house, focus shifts toward security and stability, encouraging a protective stance from investors who may shore up positions for long-term growth. With the Sun ruling Bitcoin's first and second houses, identity and resources, this transit highlights Bitcoin's intrinsic value and may elevate its perception as a foundational asset. Market conditions are likely to consolidate, prioritizing wealth preservation and preparation for future growth. The Sun's rulership of Bitcoin's first and second houses signifies that regulators and market influencers could introduce transformative or protective measures, addressing fundamental aspects of Bitcoin's appeal and security. This may spark interest from institutional investors or the so-called whales. As the Sun moves through the fourth house under Scorpio's intense, probing influence, this transit could bring deeper insights into Bitcoin's vulnerabilities and potential. This lunar cycle marks a pivotal phase for shedding old market conditions, setting the stage for renewed price movement and shifting sentiment. Long-term impact. 6-month cycle. The long-term impact of this Scorpio new moon suggests deeper transformation within Bitcoin's foundational aspects, as seen over the 6-month cycle leading to the next full moon in Scorpio, in April 2025. In Bitcoin's fourth house, this lunation may set the stage for significant shifts in investor behavior, regulatory developments, or innovations in the crypto space that impact Bitcoin's perceived value and longevity. Over this longer-term cycle, institutional engagement and infrastructure growth, Scorpio's influence may attract institutions that prioritize financial privacy and control, potentially leading to innovations or partnerships in blockchain security, privacy technology, or even adoption in alternative finance. Evolving role of regulators and market influence. With transiting Sun's ruler status over Bitcoin's first and second houses, the T-square to the nodes may indicate regulatory transformations that impact Bitcoin's foundational value. As institutional influence grows, it might also affect the decentralized ethos of the Bitcoin market, pushing it toward a more regulated, integrated role in the financial system. The potential for major announcements or policy changes regarding Bitcoin is high. Fundamental and sentimental shift. With the Sun ruling the second house, governing core assets and value, market makers could bring attention to Bitcoin's value proposition and stability, triggering a re-evaluation among both major players and retail investors. If supportive news emerges, perhaps about security or institutional backing, it could give Bitcoin a short-term boost in sentiment. However, if regulatory challenges are highlighted, traders may hesitate, contributing to volatility. Lunation cycle and market sentiment. Retail traders represented by the Moon in Scorpio. The Moon rules the hidden influences, Bitcoin's 12th house, and emotional undercurrents in the Bitcoin market. During this 2-week period starting with the Scorpio new moon, traders may feel an urge to retreat and protect their assets due to a sense of vulnerability. Sentiment is likely to be reactive, with decisions driven by feelings of safety and security. This lunation encourages traders to uncover hidden value, both in Bitcoin's long-term potential and in areas of the market that have been undervalued. New moons in Scorpio often suggest market resets and quieter phases where prices tend to stabilize, with sentiment typically neutral to bearish as traders recalibrate. Positioned in Bitcoin's fourth house, this new moon emphasizes themes of stability, emotional depth, and introspection, prompting investors to focus on securing long-term holdings and re-evaluating Bitcoin's role as a foundational asset. A T-square to Bitcoin's natal node signals potential transformation in its perceived value amidst ongoing market shifts. The fourth house placement encourages a consolidative atmosphere, with investors adopting a cautious and protective stance to ensure security. With the moon ruling Bitcoin's 12th house and representing the people and retail traders, there may be a sense of collective anxiety or caution, as there is a T-square with the nodes at the time of the new moon. Retail traders might sense the tension between past market patterns, South Node, and future potential shifts, North Node, creating a push-pull of fear and excitement. Over the next 2 weeks, this could lead to more reactive trading as smaller investors seek safety or adopt more defensive strategies in the face of uncertainty. For small traders, the 2-week Scorpio new moon cycle promotes quieter, more introspective market behavior, with the potential for sudden emotional sell-offs or consolidations, depending on how secure participants feel in the market. Shorter-term sentiment shifts are likely throughout this cycle due to significant moon transits. Notable influences include the Moon square to Bitcoin's Uranus on November 4th, increasing the potential for sudden price reversals and heightened volatility. That same day, the Moon's conjunction with Venus could intensify emotional responses, leading to exaggerated price movements. As the waxing crescent moon enters Sagittarius on November 5th, a brief confidence boost may trigger a risk-on sentiment in cryptocurrencies. Later on, the November 5's Moon-Pluto conjunction could intensify emotions, possibly resulting in a price dip. On November 6th, the Moon's conjunction with Bitcoin's Mars may drive impulsive trading, adding volatility. On November 10th, the Sun's quincunx to Bitcoin's midheaven may bring subtle tensions between market ambitions and foundational stability, urging strategic adjustments. By November 11th, the Moon's conjunction with Saturn may offer a stabilizing effect, encouraging cautious trading and potential buy-the-dip opportunities after corrections. The trine to natal Uranus also on November 11th offers potential for innovative moves or unexpected support, providing some room for upward momentum amidst a consolidative environment. Finally, the Sun square to natal Neptune on November 14th may create a brief period of uncertainty or ambiguity around value, as psychological factors could drive short-lived sell-off and an opportunity to buy the dip. Overall, this period invites a mix of strategic adjustments and cautious optimism, encouraging traders to balance security with a forward-looking view. Impact on trader psychology. Moon's influence. This new moon signals a reset in sentiment, often marking the beginning of a fresh economic narrative or cycle. With the Moon and Sun conjunct in Scorpio, emotions around the news may be intense. This could fuel heightened responses around risk sentiment and prompt either increased caution or opportunistic trading. Scorpio's depth and mystery. With the new moon in Scorpio, traders might respond with a mix of excitement and trepidation, feeling driven to uncover hidden risks. Expect a pull toward risk-off, as traders grapple with uncertainty, possibly seeking safe haven assets initially before clear trends emerge. Short-term impact. 2-week cycle. In the short term, the new moon in Scorpio typically brings a focus on intensifying emotions and insights into hidden or underlying issues within the financial markets. With the new moon in Bitcoin's 4th house, this period might reveal underlying concerns or previously unobserved strengths in Bitcoin's structural stability, particularly around security, infrastructure, or institutional backing. The Scorpio influence could lead to increased intensity in market sentiment, with investors showing heightened interest in Bitcoin's core attributes, like its decentralized nature and long-term investment potential. During this 2-week period, investor sentiment, traders might feel drawn to Bitcoin as a safe haven's investment amidst economic uncertainties, given Scorpio's inclination toward protection and security. Market reaction. Market movements could be more emotionally charged and reactive, with an increase in trading activity due to a surge of introspection and intense interest in Bitcoin's foundation. This may lead to periods of heightened volatility as emotions drive short-term buying or selling. Increased volatility and emotional uncertainty. This T-square alignment suggests emotional highs and lows over the next 2 weeks, with potential for intensified market fluctuations as both retail traders, Moon, and institutional players, Sun, navigate this transformational phase. The market may experience sudden price dips and rebounds as emotional responses to regulatory signals or security-related news increase. Market behavior. Price movements could experience phases of consolidation, followed by substantial increases or decreases, as Bitcoin solidifies its appeal as a core asset. The influence of the 4th house suggests a testing period that could serve as a foundation for future gains or stability. Psychological impact on traders. The Scorpio intensity may cause traders to experience shifts in confidence. Themes of trust and skepticism will likely rise, with investors continuously evaluating Bitcoin's strength against external pressures, regulatory changes, or competitive cryptocurrencies. Mercury and the economic news cycle, November 4th to 14th. With the Sun and Mercury in Scorpio at the time of the new moon on November 1st, news and announcements during this 2-week lunar cycle may carry an investigative tone, often surfacing hidden dynamics related to regulatory updates and economic shifts. Mercury's placement in Scorpio encourages probing analysis and exposure of underlying financial issues, with Scorpio's connection to the 8th house often signaling revelations in economic stability, banking, and market liquidity. Mercury's trine to Neptune may introduce ambiguity, with news releases potentially leading to mixed market signals, particularly around financial policies and forecasts. Trader reactions to news cycles. The semi-square between Mercury and the natal Sun can heighten sensitivity to negative news, as this aspect suggests a potential for misunderstandings or reactive interpretations. Traders may feel compelled to act on the news impulsively, leading to increased volatility. Uranus in retrograde can add an element of unpredictability to how this news cycle plays out, with traders vacillating between hope and caution. Mercury's placement in Bitcoin's 4th and 5th houses, ruler of the 3rd house at the Scorpio new moon on November 1st, Mercury in Bitcoin's 4th house highlights foundational discussions about Bitcoin's security, roots, and long-term value, emphasizing its role as a store of value. This energy fosters rational, calculated trading with a cautiously optimistic outlook. Mercury, ruling Bitcoin's 3rd house of communication, signals a period of careful analysis, sparking discussions on Bitcoin's regulatory environment and stability as an asset. As Mercury transitions into Sagittarius on November 2nd and enters Bitcoin's 5th house, speculative interest, trading activity, and communication increase. Mercury in Sagittarius amplifies speculative interest, leading to high-energy trading and discussions about Bitcoin's market movements. This shift may introduce optimism and risk-taking, which has historically driven sharp price swings in Bitcoin, as increased enthusiasm sometimes leads to overbought conditions. On November 6th, Mercury's trine to Bitcoin's moon bolsters market sentiment, where positive news could lead to bullish moves and increased trading volumes. Mercury's trine to the North Node the same day may signal favorable market guidance and align investors with long-term strategies, potentially rallying speculative assets around favorable announcements. Between November 9th to 12th, caution may re-emerge as Mercury, Saturn, Venus, and Neptune form challenging squares, prompting more restrained trading in high-risk assets, a preference for stability, and steadier volumes in stablecoins and bonds. Market tension could heighten, particularly with Venus square Neptune on November 9th. Additionally, Mercury's trine to Bitcoin's ascendant on November 9th could positively shape Bitcoin's public perception, attracting both institutional and retail investors. This alignment may spark optimism. Finally, on November 12th, Mercury's square to Saturn could prompt a conservative response to regulatory news, potentially leading to a pullback in speculative markets like crypto and creating potential buy-the-dip opportunities. FOMC, Fed rate decision and press conference, key astrological influences on market sentiment and trader psychology. On November 7, 2024, the FOMC meeting, set for 7 p.m. Universal Time Coordinated, unfolds under dynamic planetary transits, offering a mixed forecast for market reactions and trading sentiment. Let's explore how these influences could shape the economic outlook, trader behavior, and volatility across financial sectors. Mixed sentiment and market sectors. Market sentiment appears conflicted across major sectors, shaped by an interplay of optimism and caution. With Venus and Mars favorably placed, an initial boost in the tech and innovation sectors seems likely. However, the Moon-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn may temper enthusiasm with realistic concerns, especially in traditional sectors that could adopt a more conservative approach. This cautious outlook may permeate the broader market if the FOMC signals a restrictive tone, likely leading the DXY to initially rise with Mercury's short-term optimism in Sagittarius, but eventually leveling out to a slightly bearish tone. Precious metals like gold could benefit from this cautious sentiment. The Moon's conjunction with Pluto in Capricorn reinforces a safe haven appeal, potentially attracting investors seeking stability amidst uncertain regulatory signals and dovish leanings. Meanwhile, cryptocurrency markets and Bitcoin, influenced by the Mars-Pluto opposition, are set for high volatility, reflecting regulatory uncertainty paired with Mercury's optimistic, risk-taking boost in Sagittarius. Crypto and Bitcoin optimism meets volatility. For Bitcoin and crypto assets, the Moon's placement in Capricorn in Bitcoin's 10th house, in conjunction with Pluto, presents an intriguing tension. This lunar phase, the waxing crescent, typically represents growth and forward momentum. However, Capricorn's realism mixed with Pluto's transformative energy signals a potential shift from optimism to caution if the FOMC statement hints at restrictive measures. This pattern may see an initial bullish response in Bitcoin, driven by speculative enthusiasm from Mercury in Sagittarius. Yet as investors digest the FOMC's direction, this sentiment could pivot towards risk aversion, heightening volatility and creating sharp sentiment shifts. The Mars-Pluto opposition is an influential aspect, particularly for the crypto market. It suggests an intensified regulatory stance or pressure from influential players, which could bring volatility as markets react defensively to any restrictive or ambiguous signals from the FOMC. Key aspects of Mercury in Sagittarius: optimism and speculation. Mercury in Sagittarius on FOMC day emphasizes forward-thinking economic discussions and potentially optimistic announcements. At 6 degrees Sagittarius, Mercury is energized with a growth-focused, adventurous spirit, setting a tone of optimism and suggesting that traders might initially adopt a risk-on approach. If the FOMC's message aligns with Mercury's expansive qualities, we may see a wave of enthusiasm with increased trading activity, especially in growth sectors like technology and crypto assets. The Sagittarius influence encourages risk-taking, speculative trading, and long-term economic visions, which could result in renewed interest in tech stocks, cryptocurrencies, and other innovative investments. However, the presence of Venus square Neptune creates potential for confusion or misinterpretation around official messaging. This transit might lead to unclear statements from regulators or large institutions, which could affect trader confidence, especially in the volatile crypto sector. Market players may be cautious if they sense mixed signals or ambiguity in regulatory language, adding an element of unpredictability. Mars in Leo opposing Pluto in Capricorn, assertive regulatory influence. The Mars-Pluto opposition introduces an assertive, potentially controlling influence, especially from regulatory bodies or powerful institutions. This aspect hints at a tug-of-war between individual risk-taking and institutional control. For cryptocurrency markets, this could mean an intensification of regulatory scrutiny, with influential players responding defensively. Markets may experience increased volatility, particularly if the FOMC's guidance hints at more stringent oversight or cautious regulatory measures. Trading day outlook, roller coaster sentiment and high volatility. In summary, November 7th could see a whirlwind trading day across sectors. Traders are likely to start with optimism, especially in speculative assets like crypto and tech, but caution may rise as the FOMC statement is processed. With Mercury's Sagittarian influence, sentiment leans toward a risk-on mindset, supporting adventurous trading. However, as the day progresses, aspects like the Moon-Pluto conjunction and Mars-Pluto opposition may dampen sentiment, shifting from a greed to a fear response, particularly if the FOMC's message conveys restraint or ambiguity. Expect significant swings in sentiment, with the initial optimism likely tempered by a pullback across sectors. Precious metals may gain steady ground, tech and crypto markets may see the highest volatility, and the dollar could fluctuate with an overall cautious bias. For traders, this is a day to watch closely, as sentiment shifts could provide both short-term opportunities and cautionary signals amidst the evolving influence of the FOMC's guidance. Venus transits and market value. Venus in Sagittarius typically supports high-risk assets like altcoins and crypto, with Bitcoin likely receiving added attention due to a waxing moon amplifying speculative interest. This Sagittarius placement inspires optimism, particularly boosting growth-oriented assets like tech stocks and speculative cryptos. Venus influences valued assets with an emphasis on speculative activity while in Sagittarius. With Venus in Sagittarius, expect regulators to focus on foreign trade, currency, and crypto, possibly discussing the future of these markets in the global economy. Venus's square to Neptune on November 9 may prompt illusions of overvaluation and cause brief, sharp corrections in altcoins and overhyped tech stocks. Venus shifts to a more cautious tone upon entering Capricorn on November 11. As Venus moves into Capricorn, focus may shift to safer assets like stablecoins and the dollar index, reflecting a transition to more stable, fiat-backed investments and bonds. Commodities like gold and silver may also gain value with Venus in Capricorn, aligning with Capricorn's emphasis on tangible, stable assets. Transit Venus in Bitcoin's 5th house, ruler of the 4th and 11th houses. Venus transits Bitcoin's 5th house in Sagittarius until November 11, bringing a wave of enthusiasm and boosting speculative interest. This playful, risk-taking energy encourages short-term trades driven by excitement, which could spur temporary rallies in Bitcoin's price. With Venus ruling the 4th house of security and the 11th house of networks, this transit suggests a surge in speculative investment and creative market approaches. Investors may prioritize excitement, which could fuel positive price movements. New partnerships or alliances may emerge within crypto communities. As Venus in optimistic Sagittarius forms a sextile to Bitcoin's Mercury in investigative Scorpio, this aspect emphasizes optimism for Bitcoin but with a cautious undertone. Investors and traders may begin to see Bitcoin as a valuable long-term asset despite market turbulence, drawn by the sense of expansion and vision Sagittarius provides. However, Scorpio's influence through Mercury suggests traders are also evaluating risks meticulously, especially around matters of security, regulation, and hidden market mechanics. This dynamic creates an opportunity for strategic investments and market entries, with Bitcoin potentially surging from hidden support levels. On November 4, Venus squares Saturn, tempering the excitement and signaling a cautious phase, as gains stabilize and investors adopt a more reserved approach. A sesquisquare to the ascendant on November 6 may briefly create tension, affecting Bitcoin's public perception and resulting in mixed market sentiment. As Venus enters Capricorn on November 11, its influence shifts to a more serious, potentially bearish tone, emphasizing caution and practicality. On November 12, Venus's conjunction with Pluto in Capricorn deepens this reserved energy, encouraging a focus on strategic, long-term security over short-term excitement. This aspect may lead to market consolidation, with investors leaning towards a cautious trading stance and potential buy-the-dip opportunities. Asset-specific outlooks. The general stock markets are likely to be bearish to neutral as traders digest ambiguous economic data, with potential volatility increasing due to the Mars-Pluto opposition and Mercury's trine to Mars, particularly in the financial and tech sectors. For the dollar index, DXY, a mixed response is expected, with initial strength potentially leading to range-bound or slight bearish movements, influenced by unclear economic news and Saturn's retrograde in Pisces, which adds further uncertainty. Precious metals are likely to see bullish momentum as traders turn to safe haven assets amid economic uncertainty and potential risk-off sentiment under Scorpio's influence. Tech stocks may experience volatility, driven by Mercury trine Mars, but Neptune's influence introduces caution, making them susceptible to mixed economic data. Mars and trading momentum. Transit Mars in the 12th house, ruler of the 5th and 10th houses. Mars in the 12th house can trigger subconscious frustrations and hidden motivations in the market. This placement hints at behind-the-scenes activities from influential players, possibly including large institutions or key market players, large-scale investors and institutions strategically positioning themselves, often in ways not immediately visible to the public. With Mars ruling the 5th house of speculation and the 10th house of reputation, there could be hidden moves by major investors or corporations, preparing for significant future actions. This whale activity may increase volatility as covert agendas or large, stealthy trades and hidden forces stir in the market. Such hidden activity may increase volatility, as these agendas and potential large, stealth trades are eventually revealed, impacting market sentiment. Investors should watch for sudden market moves and clues of institutional positioning, as the potential for unpredictable price shifts grows. Mars in Bitcoin's 12th house can trigger subconscious frustrations and hidden motivations in the market. This placement hints at behind-the-scenes activities, possibly including large institutions or key market players positioning themselves in stealth. With Mars ruling the 5th house of speculation and the 10th house of reputation, there could be secretive moves by major investors or corporations, preparing for significant future actions. Volatility may increase as hidden forces stir in the market. The opposition between Mars in Cancer and Pluto in Capricorn during the Scorpio new moon highlights a deeper struggle within the market, as forces of change, Pluto, clash with protective instincts, Mars. This aspect suggests Bitcoin's price may experience a temporary standoff, where market forces are deeply divided between cautious sentiment, Mars in Cancer, and the transformational push to break past current price barriers, Pluto in Capricorn. Financial astrologers would interpret this aspect as a potential moment for BTC to encounter resistance and corrections before any breakthrough. With Mars opposing Pluto in Capricorn in the 6th house, conjunct natal Jupiter, price volatility is likely high. Mars and Pluto are powerful agents of transformation and aggression, and their opposition across the 12th and 6th houses may incite large, unexpected price swings. Market forces may clash over Bitcoin's true value, with some traders drawn by a sense of opportunity, while others pull back due to fear of potential restrictions or financial pressures. 6th house. The conjunction of Pluto with natal Jupiter amplifies this reaction, as Jupiter's expansive nature may magnify market swings. The kite formation during the Scorpio new moon, especially with Mars and Mercury in critical placements, points towards structural changes gaining momentum. With the new moon activating the 4th house, traders may shift focus toward Bitcoin's intrinsic security and longevity. However, Mars's opposition to Pluto suggests that these changes won't come without a clash of ideologies and strategies. News or announcements following this lunation may relate to security upgrades, regulatory reforms, or significant institutional moves, which could prompt short-term instability as the market absorbs and responds to these shifts. As Mars moves into Leo on November 4th, expect a shift toward elevated activity in high-risk assets, particularly Bitcoin and altcoins, as Mars in Leo favors bold, speculative moves. With Mars's shift to Leo, growth-focused investments may gain appeal, potentially drawing investor interest away from bonds and toward equities or cryptocurrencies in search of higher returns. Historically, Mars in Leo tends to support bullish sentiment, especially in momentum-sensitive assets like Bitcoin and tech stocks. The Mars quincunx to Venus on November 4th could create tension between bold, aggressive trades and the market's more stable, value-driven aspects. This may introduce an element of unpredictability as market participants juggle enthusiasm with risk. The quincunx to Pluto on November 8th intensifies this dynamic, indicating potential power struggles or attempts by larger players to dominate certain market trends. Finally, Mars opposes Mercury on November 13th, bringing hidden motives and covert trading actions to the forefront. This aspect could trigger bold revelations or disclosures, creating substantial market response as these hidden agendas come into full view. Jupiter and Saturn, expansion and limitations. The long-term transits of Jupiter and Saturn are significant in understanding Bitcoin's evolving market trends, reflecting larger shifts between optimism and caution, expansion and constraint. These planetary influences, particularly in key houses of social networks and financial transformation, represent a balance between Bitcoin's potential for growth and the structural challenges that come with increasing market maturity. Jupiter in the 11th house, expanding horizons and collective aspirations. With Jupiter transiting the 11th house, Bitcoin's growth aligns with the broader societal vision and the desire for technological inclusivity and adoption. Jupiter here, as the ruler of the 9th house, brings an expansive energy focused on big-picture ideas and cross-border integration, enhancing Bitcoin's role in global markets. This transit encourages collaboration and innovation, making it an opportune time for the cryptocurrency to make strides in global regulatory discussions, adoption by large institutions, and increasing use in cross-border transactions. Investors may feel a renewed sense of hope, rallying around the promise of widespread acceptance and digital independence that Bitcoin represents. However, Jupiter's current retrograde in Gemini indicates a tempered approach to these ambitions. While Jupiter traditionally inspires growth and risk-taking, the retrograde period suggests that expansion will come through careful assessment rather than aggressive moves. Historically, Jupiter's retrograde in air signs like Gemini has brought neutral to slightly bearish sentiment across equities and crypto markets, as investors prioritize caution over speculation. This period encourages reflection on market dynamics, particularly Bitcoin's role within global financial systems. Rather than impulsive optimism, investors are likely to focus on the long-term viability of Bitcoin, examining the social and regulatory environments that could shape its future. On November 13, Jupiter in Gemini forms a tense square with Bitcoin's natal Uranus, sparking potential market volatility as two opposing energies collide. Uranus is associated with sudden shifts, innovation, and disruption, while Jupiter expands whatever it touches. The square aspect between these two planets can amplify unpredictable changes, creating an environment of speculative excitement but also increased risk. For Bitcoin, this aspect could bring a pivotal moment, particularly around 19 degrees 19 minutes Gemini, where Jupiter's square activates rebellious, innovation-driven impulses. This energy could be reflected in increased trading volume and heightened speculative interest, particularly from investors who embrace high-risk, high-reward trades. However, this sudden surge of energy may also lead to swift corrections, as the square can introduce abrupt reversals. The broader sentiment during this period is likely to be restless and speculative, as the market reacts to rapid developments or potential technological announcements that challenge the status quo. Traders should be prepared for both breakout patterns and abrupt pullbacks, signaling a period of high volatility that may ultimately set the stage for new price directions. Saturn in the 8th house, financial transformation and structural limitations. In contrast to Jupiter's expansive tendencies, Saturn's transit in the 8th house brings a more serious, restrictive influence to Bitcoin markets. The 8th house governs shared resources, power dynamics, and deep financial restructuring, suggesting that Bitcoin is entering a phase of maturity within the broader financial system. This transit emphasizes accountability and brings to the forefront issues related to regulatory constraints, resource redistribution, and the long-term sustainability of Bitcoin as a financial asset. Saturn's retrograde in Pisces intensifies this atmosphere, urging caution and introspection. Traders may feel the weight of unresolved regulatory issues, as government bodies could introduce tentative policies that affect market sentiment. Delays or reversals in policy are possible, contributing to an atmosphere of uncertainty that tempers speculative trading. This retrograde phase brings Bitcoin's structural and regulatory foundations into question, pushing investors to consider the long-term impact of these factors on price and adoption. On November 4, Saturn forms a supportive trine with the Sun, which can lend stability to Bitcoin's market. The trine aspect softens Saturn's normally restrictive influence, allowing for cautious but constructive growth. This may benefit Bitcoin by reinforcing its reputation as a digital store of value, particularly for those seeking safe holdings amidst global economic fluctuations. This aspect encourages a steady, disciplined approach to trading, which can bring a more stable sentiment to the market, tempering the extreme swings often seen in speculative periods. Bitcoin's appeal as a reliable financial asset may strengthen during this transit, as investors prioritize consistency over rapid gains. Together, these long-term transits of Jupiter and Saturn encapsulate the balance between Bitcoin's expansive potential and the structural limitations it faces. Jupiter in the 11th house offers the potential for optimism, collective rallying, and visionary growth, encouraging both retail and institutional investors to consider Bitcoin's potential role in the global economy. Saturn in the 8th house, however, insists on rigorous standards and structural integrity, reminding the market that for Bitcoin to succeed on a large scale, it must withstand regulatory and financial scrutiny. This period of mixed influences highlights the dual nature of Bitcoin's current trajectory. On one hand, investors are inspired by Bitcoin's role in the future of finance. On the other, there is caution surrounding the regulatory and structural challenges that Bitcoin must navigate. As Jupiter's retrograde encourages patience and thoughtful risk assessment, and Saturn's retrograde brings unresolved regulatory issues to light, Bitcoin's journey will likely be marked by strategic, cautious growth rather than rapid, speculative spikes. For traders, this is a time to balance optimism with realism, recognizing the potential for both upward momentum and temporary pullbacks as Bitcoin undergoes these powerful planetary transits. The Jupiter-Uranus square on November 13th will be a key event to watch, as it could bring dramatic market shifts or innovative announcements that push Bitcoin's market presence forward while also introducing volatility that tests investor resilience. Saturn's grounding influence offers a counterbalance, promoting long-term stability as Bitcoin moves toward a new phase of financial significance. Outer planetary influences on Bitcoin markets, navigating expansion and transformation. The influence of Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto on Bitcoin is multifaceted, marking a period of both expansive aspirations and necessary structural adjustments. Uranus in the 10th house brings the potential for disruptive, high-profile changes in Bitcoin's public image, while Neptune in the 9th house fuels visionary ideals, albeit with the risk of disillusionment if expectations aren't met. Meanwhile, Pluto's presence in the 6th house underscores the need for structural transformation, emphasizing operational efficiency, regulatory alignment, and long-term stability. Investors navigating this period will encounter both opportunities and challenges. On the one hand, the outer planets encourage optimism and innovation, as Bitcoin's role in global finance continues to expand. On the other, the structural and regulatory hurdles that arise may lead to moments of uncertainty, particularly as Bitcoin strives to meet institutional expectations and establish a secure foundation. For traders and investors, this period suggests a cautious approach, balancing short-term speculation with long-term planning. While sudden breakthroughs or regulatory shifts could trigger volatile price swings, Bitcoin's journey through these outer planetary transits ultimately points to a maturation process that may lead to a more resilient and sustainable market presence. As Bitcoin adapts to both expansion and limitation, it stands poised to redefine its role within the financial world, navigating a path between innovation and structure that could secure its place as a transformative financial asset. Uranus retrograde, disruptions and innovations in Bitcoin's public image. With Uranus transiting the 10th house, Bitcoin's reputation and institutional standing are susceptible to sudden, unexpected changes. As the ruler of the 7th and 8th houses, Uranus brings a focus on partnerships and shared resources, suggesting that Bitcoin's relationship with institutions, corporations, and government entities may be redefined. This transit aligns with disruptive but potentially innovative shifts in Bitcoin's public image, as unexpected announcements or regulatory developments could shake up its perception and market value. Uranus in the 10th often points to surprises that can either bolster Bitcoin's reputation or trigger temporary market shocks. Major institutions may choose to adopt Bitcoin, spurring optimism, or governmental bodies might announce stringent regulations, sparking caution. This energy could lead to dramatic spikes in trading volume and price volatility as the market reacts to any high-profile news regarding Bitcoin's institutional legitimacy. Investors should be prepared for sudden shifts, as Uranus brings an electric energy that can spark innovations, yet it also introduces an element of unpredictability that may challenge even seasoned traders. Institutional and regulatory influence and Uranus retrograde, with the recent Scorpio new moon in Bitcoin's 4th house and Uranus retrograde in the 10th, regulatory influences are likely to play a prominent role in shaping Bitcoin's market narrative. The Scorpio energy highlights themes of transparency, ethics, and transformation, amplified by Mercury's trine to Neptune in the 9th house. This aspect suggests ongoing debates around Bitcoin's role within established financial systems, with discussions centered on balancing security and privacy with global regulatory frameworks. Although regulations may feel restrictive, they also reflect Bitcoin's growing importance and integration within the global economy, suggesting that the cryptocurrency is becoming more recognized yet more regulated. Neptune, visionary aspirations and idealistic sentiment. Neptune's transit through the 9th house brings a heightened sense of idealism and visionary thinking regarding Bitcoin's role in society. As the ruler of the 9th house, Neptune amplifies Bitcoin's appeal as a means of decentralization, freedom, and financial independence. Investors are likely to be drawn to Bitcoin's philosophical promise, infusing the market with hope and enthusiasm for its potential to revolutionize financial systems and offer an alternative to traditional banking. This transit, however, also introduces the risk of over-idealization. Neptune's influence can create lofty expectations that may be difficult for Bitcoin to meet in practice, leading to potential disillusionment if Bitcoin's development does not align with speculative hopes. For instance, while many view Bitcoin as a vehicle for financial liberation, regulatory actions or technological limitations could temper these aspirations. Investors may experience a roller coaster of optimism and disappointment as idealized views clash with real-world challenges. This interplay between vision and reality can contribute to market volatility, particularly if disillusionment surfaces following regulatory announcements or setbacks in technological progress. Pluto, structural transformations and operational efficiency. Pluto's transit in the 6th house marks a phase of deep structural transformation for Bitcoin, focusing on its underlying infrastructure, daily operations, and workforce dynamics. As the ruler of the 5th house, which governs creative endeavors and speculative investments, Pluto's influence in the 6th house brings attention to Bitcoin's efficiency, sustainability, and resilience. This period may reveal inefficiencies within Bitcoin's operational structure, including challenges in mining practices, security protocols, and regulatory compliance, prompting calls for improvement. Pluto's presence in the 6th house is relentless, encouraging Bitcoin to undergo a transformation that strengthens its foundation. The market may experience moments of unease as Pluto exposes hidden vulnerabilities or power struggles within the cryptocurrency ecosystem. However, this transit also provides an opportunity for growth through restructuring, potentially leading to stronger regulatory compliance, more efficient mining processes, and enhanced network security. As Bitcoin addresses these structural issues, it could emerge as a more stable and reliable financial asset, which may appeal to both institutional investors and those seeking long-term security. During this transformative period, Pluto's conjunction with Bitcoin's natal Jupiter in the 6th house suggests that Bitcoin's value proposition is undergoing a significant shift. Jupiter, associated with expansion and optimism, magnifies Pluto's transformative energy, intensifying efforts toward compliance, stability, and global integration. This conjunction encourages Bitcoin to align its operational practices with broader financial standards, potentially appealing to a larger audience, including institutions and regulatory bodies. However, Pluto's critical placement near 29 degrees Capricorn and its opposition to Mars in Cancer create tension, indicating potential regulatory friction and power struggles. This aspect may prompt government entities or institutional players to exert control, which could lead to either supportive regulatory frameworks or restrictive measures. For the crypto market, this opposition signals a period of heightened volatility, as traders react to any significant announcements regarding regulatory policies or institutional decisions. The grand water trine stabilizing this influence suggests that, despite the transformative and sometimes intense energy of Pluto, Bitcoin's trajectory will ultimately prioritize security and integration with traditional financial systems. Over the next 6 months, markets may evolve toward more robust security protocols, positioning Bitcoin as a secure and integrated component of the global economy. While these shifts may temporarily dampen speculative fervor, they could ultimately solidify Bitcoin's standing as a viable, long-term financial asset. The transiting node's influence on Bitcoin's market cycle. The transiting node's influence over the next 2 weeks and the ensuing 6 months underscores a pivotal period for Bitcoin's market evolution. The immediate cycle demands disciplined, calculated actions from traders, while the longer 6-month cycle drives Bitcoin towards a more collaborative and institutionalized role within global finance. With the T-square pressure on Mars and Capricorn, Bitcoin is entering a phase where balancing innovation with structural integrity is key. The nodal influence encourages a movement away from individual-driven, speculative tactics, steering instead toward collective stability, broader regulatory acceptance, and ultimately, a redefined place in the financial ecosystem. Short-term influence, 2-week cycle of strategic rebalancing. The 2-week lunar cycle, starting with the Scorpio new moon, and the T-square between the transiting nodes and natal Mars in Bitcoin's 5th house creates pressure for disciplined, goal-oriented action among market participants. Mars in Capricorn is a strategic, structured force, which in the 5th house emphasizes risk-taking, speculative trading, and creative strategies. The T-square aspect challenges Bitcoin's market participants to temper impulsive moves with structured discipline, encouraging a shift towards more calculated trades and cautious optimism. As the South Node in Libra transits the 3rd house, information and communication may drive sentiment, but market players will need to balance this immediate, community-oriented influence with the independent, forward-thinking North Node in Aries in the 9th house. This axis suggests an evolving focus on bold, innovative approaches, especially as Bitcoin contends with global market dynamics and anticipates regulatory shifts. Long-term influence, 6-month cycle of institutional integration and global transformation. Over the next 6 months, the Scorpio new moon's T-square to Bitcoin's nodal axis points toward a fundamental shift in its role within the financial ecosystem. This period will likely test Bitcoin's adaptability as it confronts structural and regulatory challenges in alignment with the North Node's transit through the 9th house in Aries, favoring bold institutional or regulatory changes. The 9th house influence underscores a push for independence and pioneering approaches in global finance, which may manifest as innovative policies, new frameworks, or significant technological advancements in the crypto space. These developments will likely impact Bitcoin's public image, especially as the ruler of the 10th house, Mars, underscores the importance of these shifts on Bitcoin's broader market reputation. The Scorpio new moon square to Bitcoin's North Node in Aquarius in the 8th house brings a longer-term transformation, signaling that Bitcoin is increasingly moving toward institutional and community-focused integration. This placement suggests an intensified focus on collective market actions, regulatory adaptation, and cross-border influence, which may drive Bitcoin to evolve from an individual asset to a more embedded component of the financial infrastructure. With the South Node in Leo in the 2nd house, there's a push away from past strategies of individual dominance and speculative gain toward a cooperative and sustained approach. The goal is stability and inclusivity, marking a gradual but deep transformation of Bitcoin's foundational dynamics. Bitcoin Trading Calendar, November 4th, 14, 2024. This guide combines key astrological influences with trading insights, offering a unique perspective on potential market shifts. By examining astrological transits, this calendar highlights anticipated bearish, bullish, neutral sideways, and high volatility periods for Bitcoin. Each period reflects how trader psychology, shaped by shifts in optimism, caution, risk appetite, and collective sentiment, could influence market trends. Please note that these interpretations are intended to indicate general trends rather than precise price movements. This calendar is not financial advice. Always conduct your own research before making any financial decisions. November 3rd to 4th, Moon in Sagittarius, Venus and Mars oppositions, volatile, bearish tilt, transits, Venus opposition Jupiter, Mars opposition Pluto interpretation. Venus opposing Jupiter can create over-expectations, leading to impulsive buying or selling. The Mars-Pluto opposition intensifies volatility and can lead to aggressive moves. Market sentiment, risky, potentially bearish as traders may react emotionally. November 3rd, brings intense, emotionally driven market activity, as key planetary oppositions set the tone for volatility with a bearish tilt. Venus opposing Jupiter may fuel over-expectations, leading traders to impulsive buying or selling as speculative excitement around cryptocurrencies and tech sectors peaks. The Mars-Pluto opposition intensifies this volatility, sparking aggressive moves and risk-taking, particularly in high-growth or speculative assets. The Moon's conjunction with Mercury and Venus in Sagittarius on November 3rd injects optimism and adventure into market sentiment, likely encouraging traders toward bolder, speculative trades, with a potential short-term rally in cryptos and growth assets. However, caution may emerge as the Moon squares Saturn on November 4th, creating a risk-off period where Saturn's influence instills a disciplined approach, slowing down trading activity and encouraging hesitance. For Bitcoin, the North Node conjunct the Moon in Aries suggests a period of reflection on market direction and goals, with emotional sentiment possibly setting the stage for shifts in the days to come. Venus square Saturn on the same day reinforces caution, creating downward pressure and a more conservative sentiment as traders reduce activity in response to restrictive aspects. November 5th, 6th, Moon in Capricorn, Mercury and Node Trine, neutral sideways, potential volatility, transits, Moon enters Capricorn, Mercury Trine node interpretation. The Moon in Capricorn often brings a practical, cautious approach. The Mercury node Trine suggests a strong influence of collective sentiment on Bitcoin prices. Market sentiment, potential for neutral or sideways movement as traders reassess strategies. The trading period from November 5th, 6th is likely to exhibit a neutral to mildly bullish trend, driven by the practical influence of the Moon in Capricorn and the supportive Mercury node Trine. While the Capricorn Moon encourages a cautious reassessment of strategies, this energy is balanced by the positive sentiment fostered by the Mercury Trine with Bitcoin's Moon, which promotes clarity in communication and decision-making. As traders digest these influences, Bitcoin's price action may experience stable trading with potential upward movement, particularly on November 6th, when additional positive sentiment from Venus enhances market enthusiasm. However, the overall tone remains tempered by the Capricorn influence, suggesting that any bullishness may be limited and should be approached with a sense of caution as participants remain vigilant amidst shifting market dynamics. November 7th, Moon in Capricorn conjunct Pluto, Uranus and Neptune aspects, highly volatile, transits, Moon conjunct Pluto, Uranus quincunx Venus, Neptune square Venus interpretation. The Moon conjunct Pluto often brings intensity and unexpected changes, and aspects from Uranus and Neptune heighten unpredictability. Market sentiment, high volatility, potential for sharp moves in both directions. On November 7th, with the Moon in Capricorn conjunct Pluto, the market is set for high volatility, driven by intense emotional undercurrents and unexpected changes. The conjunction with Pluto often amplifies hidden fears and uncertainties, prompting traders to adopt a grounded and cautious approach focused on fundamentals. As the Moon aligns with Pluto, the potential for sharp market moves in either direction increases, especially as this aspect may trigger protective strategies among high-stakes investors, heightening selling pressure. Additionally, aspects from Uranus and Neptune introduce further unpredictability, while the square to Chiron adds to the cautious sentiment. traders are likely to exhibit risk-off behavior, reducing exposure or taking profits as they navigate through the heightened volatility and react to potential hidden risks associated with crypto and other speculative assets, leading to a notable increase in the fear index during this period. November 8, 9, first quarter moon in Aquarius, bearish with high volatility, transits, moon square sun, first quarter in Aquarius, moon opposition Mars, moon trine Jupiter interpretation. The first quarter in Aquarius can lead to sudden breaks in trends. The moon's opposition to Mars intensifies emotions, while the trine to Jupiter could create false optimism. Market sentiment, likely bearish but with spikes due to volatility. From November 8 to 9, during the first quarter moon in Aquarius, market conditions are expected to be bearish with high volatility. The square between the moon and the sun can lead to sudden breaks in established trends, creating an atmosphere of unpredictability. Additionally, the moon's opposition to Mars intensifies emotions, potentially sparking aggressive trading behaviors. While the trine to Jupiter may momentarily infuse the market with false optimism, traders are likely to remain cautious, resulting in a bearish overall sentiment punctuated by spikes of volatility. On November 8, the quincunx between Mars and Bitcoin's natal Pluto suggests high tension and deep-rooted fears, leading to a turbulent trading environment marked by potential pullbacks. However, by November 9, the optimistic sentiment from Mercury trining Bitcoin's ascendant may shift trader psychology towards a more favorable outlook, allowing for the possibility of a stable or upward price trend as confidence encourages buying over hesitation. November 10, 11, moon in Pisces, Venus enters Capricorn, neutral to slightly bullish, transits, moon conjunct Saturn, Venus enters Capricorn interpretation. The moon conjunct Saturn in Pisces adds caution. Venus moving into Capricorn stabilizes sentiment, often drawing in institutional or long-term investors. Market sentiment, cautiously bullish with low trading volume. From November 10 to 11th, the trading period is characterized by neutral to slightly bullish sentiment, influenced by the moon in Pisces and the entry of Venus into Capricorn. The moon's conjunction with Saturn in Pisces introduces a layer of caution, prompting traders to adopt a more reflective mood that may diminish their risk appetite as they reconsider previous decisions. This cautious sentiment could lead to reduced engagement with speculative assets. However, Venus moving into Capricorn tends to stabilize the market, potentially attracting institutional and long-term investors who are looking for security in their investments. While the moon's trine to the sun on November 11 may provide a brief uplift in sentiment overall, the market is marked by sensitivity and an increased sense of caution, suggesting a risk-off approach. The sun quincunx Bitcoin's midheaven indicates uncertainty and minor volatility, as traders adjust to unclear market direction, while the sun trine to Bitcoin's natal Uranus fosters an innovative and positive outlook, hinting at the potential for bullish trends and new short-term highs driven by technological optimism surrounding Bitcoin. November 12 to 14th, moon in Aries, Mercury square Saturn, bearish, potentially volatile, transits, Mercury square Saturn, moon enters Aries and conjunct Chiron. Interpretation, Mercury square Saturn often indicates challenges or obstacles in communication. Traders may experience delays, frustrating those expecting quick profits. Market sentiment, bearish, especially for short-term trades. Possible sell-off or consolidation. Traders may feel inclined to take profits or cut losses. The trading period from November 12 to 14th is marked by a bearish and potentially volatile sentiment as the moon enters Aries. The assertive energy from the moon in Aries encourages risk-taking and may initially drive bullish sentiment on November 12. However, the Mercury square Saturn aspect introduces challenges in communication and may lead to delays that frustrate traders hoping for quick profits, particularly affecting short-term trades and potentially prompting a sell-off or consolidation. On November 13, the moon conjunct Chiron and forms a trine to Mercury, offering psychological relief, but is countered by squares to Pluto and Venus, and despite optimism, there will still be hesitation about overexposure, with the preference for quicker in and out trades rather than long-term investments. This mix creates a volatile market environment leaning sideways to bearish as traders consider taking profits or cutting losses. As traders respond to these dynamic influences, significant price movements are expected, especially with the Venus natal Pluto conjunction suggesting transformational shifts. Additionally, other transits such as Mars opposing natal Mercury and Jupiter squaring natal Uranus contribute to increased market tension and speculative trading, leading to potential breakout patterns in either direction. The Sun square natal Neptune creates potential for deception or miscalculation, which leads to confusion and probable declines as uncertainty rises in decision-making. This concludes our financial and Bitcoin astrology forecast. Thank you for watching. See you next time.